Oh no, rain at Disney? You've been planning for months. And then you realize on the weather app, it's supposed to rain on your day. And so what do? Do you cancel? Do you rebook? Do you try to figure it out? In this video, I hope to show you maybe you don't have to cancel your trip and maybe you can see what actually Disney has to offer even in the midst of rain. So instead of canceling, maybe you should try these things. Let me tell you a little story about the day we went to California Adventure on a very rainy day. We, as a family, were going in February of 2024, and unfortunately, anyone that lives in the area will probably remember this, is Southern California, I think even all the way down to San Diego and the LA area, like that whole section of California was experiencing something called an atmospheric river. Well, if you don't know what that is, I didn't either. And it is where they are experiencing like historical amounts of rainfall in a very short period of time. And I'm like, great, Disney in an atmospheric river.
Oh no.
Who wants that? No one. But that was the card that was dealt to me. And so instead of like trying to panic and rebook our trip, because we couldn't, it was just the only day that all the families could come together and go, we were just like, hey, we're gonna make the best of it. And so I did some research of what to do at Disney in the rain. So I am going to give you those tips on this video. And instead of you rebooking and trying to figure it out, I think you can still have a pretty great day at Disney, even in the rain. Now, I went to Amazon and I bought these ponchos, packed our rain boots. I packed all the raincoats we had and the umbrellas. And fortunately, I did have a lot of rain stuff because where we live in Northern California, there is a rainy season. So we had some stuff stocked up. But I definitely bought ponchos, which I think I prefer even more than my raincoat. And that's all a preference thing. You might prefer your raincoat over a poncho, but they worked great for our family. And then we all kind of like researched the weather and we're like, well, it feels safe enough because the atmospheric river was dying down by the time our trip was coming. So we were catching like the tail end of this thing. And I was like, okay, it's safe enough to drive. No roads are shut anymore. Because we live about 10 hours away. So we're still gonna do this. We're gonna full send and we're gonna go to Disney in the rain and we're gonna have a good day. And so after all my research of what to do at Disney in the rain, I wanna give you some tips. I'm gonna show you on the map the different things that are available in the rain because some things do shut down. Okay, so let's break it down first. What closes on a rainy day? So like I said before, our day at the park that was supposed to be rainy pretty much the whole day. It did show scattered showers, which I will say there was times it wasn't completely raining, but I would say there was a slight drizzle almost all day. Let's talk what closes, okay? First off, you can see on the map here, Cars Land. Radiator Springs usually shuts down in the rain, especially if it's consistent enough. And so does Luigi's Cars. Like they fully shut it down if it's wet, which because they're all magnetic. So that was like fully shut down all day. I don't even think it opened. Mater's was open for some of it, so they open periodically. Now, the other thing that for sure was closed all day was Goofy's Sky School. So you can see that over here in the corner, number 21. And it is a fun ride, but they do not open it in the rain. And then the Ferris wheel, we were able to ride in the rain. It was like drizzling when we went. Now, obviously, if there's thunder and lightning, they're going to shut down a lot more rides. But for just a little bit of the rain, the Ferris wheel stayed open and we got to go on that. And you can see it on the video right here. We had so much fun. Incredicoaster was open for part of the rainy day. It would periodically close, but you could for sure still ride that because it didn't close because there was no lightning or thunder. It wasn't like we were having a bad thunderstorm. It was just consistent drizzle. And then certain parts was real bright, okay? So yes, there's a lot of things closed. Now let's talk about what's inside for you to do. There's a lot of indoor rides and a lot of indoor experiences that if you are open, you can have a great time. So let's start back here at Pixar Pier. Toy Story is an indoor ride. So much fun. All kids of ages can ride it. There's no height requirement. You can have so much fun, 3D video game, and my kids have a blast. And I'm not gonna lie, I get a little competitive, but I actually kind of suck at this ride. My husband beats me every time, but I still have this weird hope that one day I can beat him. It hasn't happened, but maybe one day. Then if you walk across the pier more towards the main area, you're gonna find Ariel. It's number 25. Ariel is a completely indoor ride. My girls love Ariel. I mean, what little princess doesn't love Ariel? It's such a good movie. And the ride is so cute. It's not the longest ride, and the wait, obviously on a rainy day, might be more because people want to be indoors, but it usually goes really fast. So that is a great option. And then you also have, if you keep going, you'll have to go down past Grizzly Peak. And one of my favorite rides that is all indoor and probably was the favorite ride of the family for the day. Even my parents, who don't necessarily love all the rides, my parents loved this ride, and it's Soarin'. I mean, Soarin', it's just a good one. It's so unique, and it's not the most thrilling, but you still get some element of movement, and you're fully immersed in the story and the screen, and then they have scents, and like, it's just brilliant. So Soarin' is a great option indoors, and then you come over to the Hollywood Land, and you're gonna have a lot more of the experiences that we did. But first, let's stick to the rides. Monsters, Inc. is completely indoors and has no height requirement, and is great for kids with all ages. Then you can walk all the way up towards Avengers Campus and Guardians, all indoors. Do my kids like this ride? My oldest does. My middle has not rode it, and neither has my youngest. My youngest is just hitting the 40-inch requirement for most rides. I don't know if she's gonna go on Guardians. Guardians feels intense for a 40-inch requirement. I know it's like safe because you're just in a seatbelt, but like, I get like nervous and giddy on Guardians because, you know, it's intense. You are dropping a lot. But my oldest loves this ride. So if you are there and your kids don't get freaked out by Guardians themed stuff and they love the feeling of losing their stomach, go on Guardians. It is so fun. It's probably one of my favorite rides in all of Disneyland or California Adventure. It is so fun. I love it so much. And it's all indoors. So that was completely open all day. And then Spider-Man right there is also open all day, or was open all day because it's all indoors. So there's still some like great heavy hitter rides that are all indoors. You can actually get a lot of fun rides even on a rainy day. Now I will say Cars is one of the prime features of California Adventure. So the fact that majority of that land is closed on a rainy day, definitely a bummer. But just be aware of that. You still have a lot of the main heavy hitters available on a rainy day. So now there's some fun experiences you can do with kids. Obviously, my channel is mainly geared towards families with young kids, so take that into consideration. But there's so many fun things for kids to do inside, which you never know until you need to be inside. So we obviously we love rides, and that's probably the main thing we're focused on when we go to Disney. At least it was when we were first starting. Now we love finding these different experiences that Disney has to offer that we just had no idea. And so let's start with one. So one of my favorites that we did on the rainy day, because on a normal day this takes time because you have to wait a while, usually, is when you meet Elsa and Anna. Obviously, they're one of the most popular Disney characters in the parks, and all the little girls love them. So I would say the line usually takes a while because, you know, they're the best. I mean, Elsa's probably my favorite character in the Disney franchise. So I don't mind waiting. However, you're gonna wait in this line, and it's in building number 4. It's called the Disney Animation. And so there's a lot of fun things you can do in there. And you can see this video right here of my niece. So when they're in this big room, it's kind of a dark room, and they show you the first sketches of the movies. Like they highlight Lion King, Frozen, I think Little Mermaid, and there's a couple others that they like highlight, and it just rotates. So you're kind of in this room where your kids are a little entertained because there's some screens going on. And then they play all the music, and it's just such a fun little place. But we were waiting for Elsa and Anna in that line, obviously, when my sweet niece was singing Let It Go with all your heart. And honestly, I have been in there multiple times when that song goes off and the little girls that sing, it just is so adorable. The whole room starts singing along, and it's really sweet. And then we got to meet Anna, as you can see here. Now, unfortunately, you don't get to pick who you meet. The first time we went, when they were kind of reopening after COVID, we got to meet both Anna and Elsa at the same time, which was amazing. Now they've kind of switched it to you're meeting one at a time and you don't know who you're going to meet, which is kind of hard because then if you're like, well, we're going to wait in line again in hopes that we meet Elsa next time, you could just be meeting Anna again. And so it feels like it's kind of a risk to do it twice. So we just did it once, but you got to think it's pouring outside. We're in a nice building. We're all comfortably dry. Let's wait in line. And you can watch how all these Disney movies began to start. These are the first sketches. That's what they thought the character might look like. And it's kind of fascinating for, like, my kids are like, they were going to make Elsa look like that? That doesn't even look like Elsa. And it's kind of fun just to have those dialogues of how in a creative space things evolve. Okay, and there's another thing in this building that I absolutely love. It is one of my kids' favorite, and it's called the Animation Academy. So in this, you get to draw different characters, and they have like professional Disney artists teach you how to draw all the different characters. And so if you go into this building, you're gonna see like a little poster board, and it's gonna tell you the time slots and what character you'll be drawing at each time slots. It rotates every 30 minutes. So you're in this class for 30 minutes learning to draw a new character. The next 30 minutes, they're drawing a totally different character. But if you find this poster board, you could maybe pick your favorite and come back at that time frame if you want to draw a specific character. My kids have so much fun. My daughter brought her own little sketchbook that she has because she loves drawing and is very creative and very artistic. So she has her own sketchbook and brought it with her. And then the artist saw that as we walked down the front, the artist saw that she brought her own sketchbook. He goes, do you love drawing? And she's like, and he goes, here, you can have my original. And it's signed and everything. And he gave us the original drawing. See, he gave us the original drawing. And he even signed it right down here. But like, look how cute that is. And then ours weren't as bad as I thought they'd be. Like, they actually break it down pretty simple enough for you to do this. So obviously, I think my daughter was maybe like 7 the first time we did this. And my other daughter was like 5. And so the 5-year-old, she did her best. Honestly, they break it down simple enough. She kind of figured it out. But you do want your kids to be somewhat old enough to where they would even want to learn something like this. But it's so fun. We go back every time now because my kids just have a blast. And I think they leave feeling like a whole professional artist. Okay, so pause on things to do. Let's talk about where we ate, okay? Because a lot of the times when you're eating at Disney, you're eating outside because you're just finding like snacks or treats. And a lot of the seating's outdoor because, like I said, Anaheim has beautiful weather, usually year round. Like, yeah, there's some off days, but for the most part, it's wonderful. I would say it's elite compared to Disney World, but don't come for me for that. I do think we have better weather. However, this is a rainy day video, so it does rain at Disney. Granted, we went in an atmospheric river, so that is a little more rare, but it still can rain. So we started out at breakfast, which is the Smokes Jumpers. It's on the map, as you can see here. And that has I wouldn't say it's like huge indoor seating, but it's enough. Like, we were able to find a table just fine, and we were a pretty big party. Granted, we were at breakfast, so it is rope drop. There's less people in the park naturally, so we were totally fine finding our own table. And we were able to get warm, have a nice warm breakfast, and honestly, their breakfast is pretty good there. I definitely recommend it if you're looking for a breakfast place. It's probably one of my favorites in the California Adventure area. And so we ate there for breakfast. And then there is some nicer restaurants that have indoor seating that we were trying to get into. However, you usually need reservations for those. And what I mean by that is Cathaway Circle and Lamp Lounge. You need a reservation, and they do have some indoor seatings. We did not have a reservation, and the waits were so long because, it's raining and everyone wants to be inside. So another thing to do on a rainy day is find the nice restaurants. And sometimes you can get a last minute reservation at these, but we were such a large party, it was pretty unlikely that we would be able to. And so we were trying to get on a wait list, but the wait lists are usually for the outdoor areas, so that didn't help us much. So instead, we went over to Cars Land and we went to Flo's over here, and they have a decent amount of indoor seating. And so we had to hover a little bit over a couple tables, but we got it. But we were able to have a nice indoor meal and enjoy our time together. Okay, back to some fun things that we did on a rainy day. We also did the Disney Junior Dance Party. I don't know if you've ever done this, but it is so cute and it is so fun. And it's perfect for a rainy day because you have to go in this building and they have all these characters come out and your kids dance. And I think at one point they shot out confetti and they shot out fake snow, and it was just a great time. And my kids had so much fun. They really enjoyed it, and it's all indoors and they had a blast. So that is something you can do. That is over here in building number 2. And then across the way from that is the Philhar Magic. It's Mickey's Philhar. I don't know if I'm saying that. Philhar Magic. Basically, it's a fun little video that you can go. It's basically a little mini movie theater area, and you can go watch a short film. And so that is another great option that a lot of people really love it. And it's all indoors, and it's great to do on a rainy day. All right, so there you have it. We did stay the whole day because the afternoon and dinner time, we were able to eat outside. We ate in San Francisco Square. I love that square for food. I think it's one of the better areas of food, and probably in both parks. I really enjoy the food in that square. So that's where we ate for dinner, and it wasn't raining very bad because that's mostly outdoor seating. And then we were able to still go have fun and ride all the different rides and walk around at night and still experience the World of Color show, which is one of my favorite things to do at Disney. I love that show. So we were able to make it the whole day. My kids had fun. Something else that we brought, which saved our lives, was a change of clothes, because halfway through the day, their pants and socks were a little wet, even in their rain boots. I'm very thankful we packed extra clothes for the day because they did end up changing halfway through the day. So all that to say, did the rain ruin our day? No, it didn't. We still were able to do all the stuff we wanted. We still had an amazing time. We just had to find all the indoor activities instead of being outside. And so it kind of forced us to try a different side of Disneyland, which in some ways was really great. And honestly, we found things that we want to do all the time now. If you end up going to Disney and you see rain in your forecast, I hope this video helps you, because you can still have a wonderful time at Disney with your family and make the most out of the day if you pack the right things and learn the right things to do and set your expectations well that certain rides will be closed. But don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. Leave a comment if you've made it this far to the very end, or if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them. But yeah, we'll see you next time.